Okay, so hello out there in YouTube land. We're continuing with our reading and discussion of King Lear. And today we're going to begin with Act 4, Scene 4. It's a very short act, largely with Cordelia speaking. Um, so we're going to read the short act and then we'll discuss it somewhat and probably move on. Well, we will move on after that. So, all that being said, I will ask our Cordelia. Let me read this little thing. Act 4, Scene 4, a tent. Enter with drum and colors, Cordelia, doctor, and soldiers. Take it away, Cordelia.
Alack, 'tis he. Why, he was met even now as mad as the vexed sea, singing aloud, crowned, crowned, crowned with rank fumiter and furrow weeds, with hardocks, hemlock, nettles, cuckoo flowers, darnel, and all the idle weeds that grow in our sustaining corn. A century send forth, search every acre in the high-grown field, and bring him to our eye. What can man's wisdom in the restoring his bereaved sense? He that helps him take all my outward worth.
There is means, madam. Our foster nurse of nature is repose, the which he lacks, that to provoke in him are many simples operative, whose power will close the eye of anguish.
All blessed secrets, all you unblemished virtues of the earth, spring with my tears. Be aidant and remediate in the good man's distress. Seek, seek for him, lest his ungoverned rage dissolve the life that wants the means to lead it.
News, madam. The British powers are marching hitherward.
Is known before. Our preparation stands in expectation of them. O dear father, it is thy business that I go about. Therefore, great France, my mourning and importuned tears hath pitied. No blown ambition does our arms incite, but love, dear love, and our aged father's right. Soon may I see and hear him.
Okay, so it was short. But
So what is Cordelia speaking about in that first piece, I wonder? She seems to be talking about weeds.
well, she of course she's talking about her father. She's
Hmm.
talking about King Lear, but she's gotten some sort of message, I guess, from the gentleman that Kent sent that he's about. And so it's interesting. Alack, 'tis he, Lear. Why, he was met even now as mad as the vexed sea, singing aloud, crowned with rank fumiter and furrow weeds, with burdocks, hemlock, nettles, cuckoo flowers, darnel, and all the idle weeds that grow in our sustaining corn. So, have either of you seen Ran by Kurosawa?
I haven't.
No.
No.
Okay. Well, in this scene, it is actually has his King Lear has gone mad and is romping about in the fields of wild weeds, etc. And
Hmm.
he has has actually made a crown for himself out of weeds.
This is
And,
the same thing, isn't it?
huh?
This is the same thing here.
This is the same thing here.
Except for weeds. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I only bring it up because it's actually a pretty nice scene with
Yeah.
him with his wild eyes running through the fields.
Mm. And he's singing aloud.
And he's singing aloud, yes. So she's telling her soldiers, go look for this old mad geezer. That's my father.
Who's sending 100 men out, I think. A century sent forth.
Oh, a sentry sent forth.
Uh,
Okay.
that's my reading of it.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. Umator. Let me see if I can. What are my notes? A. Darnell sustaining published virtues. Well, thank goodness for your notes, because my notes in my copy doesn't even say it.
No, I've no notes. I'm just
Yeah, no,
suggesting.
no. Oh, okay, here it is. Yeah, sentry, literally 100 soldiers, a division in the Roman army, marking Cordelia's anxiety that she sends so many. The word may have been prompted by its echo of centauri, an herb noted for its medicinal powers. Okay, well, anyway, we don't need that part of it, but I think it is good. A sentry sent forth. Yeah, she really wants to find the old man.
Can I just go back for a moment to the Darnell reference there?
Yeah.
There's a biblical reference about somebody who had scattered weeds among the corn, and what was the farmer to do? So he would he would harvest everything, but then he would separate the wheat from the chaff, if you've heard that phrase.
I have
Uh,
heard that phrase. I actually thought that the wheat from the chaff meant largely the seed of the wheat from the stalk. So it's interesting, but I guess it would be mean separating the actual grain from whatever is not grain.
yes, but you can't do that until such time as both have grown. So you have to allow the wheat and the chaff to grow together. And
Yeah.
then when you harvest them, you then separate them because you would tear up the proper seed if you tried to do it when they were just seeds.
I
It's it,
believe
it
that,
it's obviously a story which is talking about, saints and sinners. You separate the wheat from the chaff, and
yeah, the good from the
hey,
useless.
yeah,
And I believe in technical fact that the way that it's actually done, used to be done, is the harvest would be harvested, then they would take flails
yeah,
and they would flail it to break the straw from the grain, and then they would throw it up in the air,
okay,
and the air would carry away the chaff being lighter than the seed. So I guess there was a some sort of technique of how you would throw it up.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Hmm.
We thought there was nothing of interest in this scene, but we've now found two things already.
Yeah.
Yes, and she's Cordelia is also speaking in the royal plural, and search every acre and bring him to our eye.
Hmm.
And the officer is then sent off to carry out that.
And then she asked the question, what can man's wisdom in the restoring his bereaved sense?
Hmm.
He that helps him take all my outward worth.
Well, I don't understand that.
she's telling the physician that if he can find either if the physician can heal her father, or if she can find someone who can heal her father, she will give him all her material wealth.
Okay. My outward worth. Yeah.
Yeah, my outward worth.
Okay. And he then reassures her that there is means that he can be cured.
Yeah.
He basically wants him to sleep it off. Our first
Mhm.
nurse of nature is repose, the which he lacks. He clearly has not been sleeping.
Right. Right.
Yes. And he's saying that to provoke in him are many simples operative. I presume that's medicine, is it?
There is a simple, usually a simple is a kind of, in my understanding, okay, the syntax is ambiguous. Yeah, a simple was so called because it was prepared from a single herb
Okay.
as opposed to a formula.
And this is to be administered to Lear to help him sleep and thus restore him.
That to provoke in him, okay, that, and the that I think does mean repose or sleep.
Yeah,
That to provoke in him, to cause in him, are many simples operative, whose power will close the eye of English.
yeah.
Trying to St. John's wort is a St. John's wort is an example.
Yeah.
If I had to go back a bit there, that um, he that helps him take all my outward worth, that's okay. She wants to pay everything she has to get his health. But it's the bit before, what can man's wisdom in the restoring his bereaved sense? Now,
Hmm.
Hmm.
it's the restoring of his bereaved sense. Does wisdom there encompass whatever system is used in restoring his health
I think it just means information.
Hmm.
information?
What
What
what does what does man, us general, know that can restore him to sanity?
Presumably, she's addressing these words to the doctor because he responds. So she's
yes.
looking to him for an answer.
Yes, that's my sense of what's going
Hmm.
on. Hmm.
As if she doesn't think that there is a possibility, but the doctor says that there is a means.
I think she's hopeful.
Yeah, I think she's hopeful also. That's why she asked the question. If she
She
Yeah,
didn't
just
think there
doesn't
was,
know.
if she didn't think there was any possibility, she would, I don't think she would have asked the question.
no, I agree. And then she adds to it in her next intervention. She says, all blessed secrets, all you unpublished virtues of the earth. She's referring to what you refer to, Duncan, something like St. John's wort or chamomile or something like that, that would
Yeah.
ease
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah.
Spring with my tears. So she wants those sort of plants fertilized with her tears. By be aided and remediate in the good man's distress. So she's pleading for help. Seek, seek for him, lest his ungoverned rage dissolve the life that wants the means to lead it. So she's basically praying for his restoration to health.
Yeah. One of my notes says that this is almost a magic spell or a magic chant that she's doing here.
I think that's stretching it a little, isn't it?
Yeah, but yes, but But it's also that first sentence, all blessed secrets, all you unpublished virtues of the earth.
Yeah,
That's that's very sweet, I think.
yeah,
And it's also indicative that although she is not totally confident, that she has some hope that there are things that she does not know that can help her father.
yeah. And the doctor would have been expected to have secret powers, let's call them, when she talks about all blessed secrets. His knowledge would be more superior to the ordinary man, and he would know things that others wouldn't, uh, to help solve the situation.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that's,
yeah, yeah. Well, at that particular time, medicine was largely herbal
yeah,
and incantory, and what's called hygienic. Hygienic meaning rest, food, um,
bleeding with leeches.
bleeding. Yes, that would
Yeah,
probably would have been part of it too. Massages of different sorts, et cetera, et cetera.
mhm, yeah.
I can't remember it all now. I read a 4 volume history of medicine one time, and it was just astounding. But that was a long time ago, and what little I retain of it is murky. Okay, seek for him. So she feels urgency here. Seek for him, lest his ungoverned rage dissolve the life that wants the means to lead it.
Yes, his rage was making him mad. His rage over the two daughters, or three
Yes,
daughters.
yes. And this is a very much in line with Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine would say that anger is the most dangerous of the emotions.
Yeah. Yes, because it impacts on your reason. And clearly, this has happened to Lear, that
Mm-hmm,
he's no longer rational.
mm-hmm.
He's,
I watched a movie, an old movie, in fact, last night. Elizabeth Taylor and Montgomery Cliff, suddenly last summer, that had a lot of this stuff in it. Elizabeth Taylor had witnessed her cousin uh, dying in a most excruciating way, and she went mad.
what was
So
the name of that again, Duncan?
suddenly last summer.
I haven't heard of it. Probably an oldie.
It is an oldie. It was in
Yeah,
Yeah.
1959. I was probably 14 or 15 years old when I saw it. It's not It's a good movie. It's not the greatest movie, but it does have Katharine Hepburn and Elizabeth Taylor and Montgomery Cliff.
good cast.
Um, and it's worth seeing. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the part that was interesting to me is I'm amazed. Movies had a big effect on me when I was young.
Yeah,
Okay, anyway, there's that. So she wants to find her father. She knows her father's out there somewhere. I assume she knows that because the gentleman sent by Kent and the gentleman have come and told her.
yeah.
Then the message, news, madam, the British powers are marching hitherward. I guess that means Cornwall and Company. The British powers, is that right?
That's my interpretation. And they obviously have news that the French have landed on the British shores. So they're coming to face up to them.
Okay, news, madam, the British powers. Concordia says, "'Tis known before." I already knew that.
Yeah.
Our preparation stands in expectations of them. Then another incantation sort of said, "Oh, dear Father, it is thy business I go about. Therefore, great France, the King of France, my mourning and important tears hast pitied. No blown ambition does our arms incite, but love, dear love, and our aged father's right. Soon may I hear and see him."
The phrase no blown ambition is interesting there. She's having a cut off her two sisters, who are the ones with the ambition.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think she's also acknowledging that just to have France on English shores would stir suspicions.
Maybe I'm reading too much Joyce these days, but this thing, oh dear Father, it is thy business I must go about, that I go about. This is a biblical reference. I must be about my Father's business.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah,
Uh,
Jesus said that.
yeah. It's just interesting that it's Cordelia who paraphrases it.
Yeah.
Yes, to have a woman using that is quite interesting.
But she's clearly very clear in what her ambition is. Her ambition is to look after her father's business and to see that he's restored to health. Soon may I hear and see him. So
Hmm.
she's acting out of love, whereas the two sisters are acting out of ambition.
Hmm.
And I haven't read ahead, so I just wonder, are we going to have a clash between the French forces and the English forces? But I'm sure that will be revealed as we go along.
Yes. Hmm. Okay. So I think
Just
we've
thinking
worked.
that the time span of this. Um, I don't know where the castles are, but if they're getting down to Dover, it's going to take weeks getting across from France over to England.
But I think they're already there,
The
Dan.
French, yeah, the French are already there in Dover.
Yeah, they're in Dover.
From the time that the King of France was at the first in the first scene.
Yeah,
But
but
sure,
he went back to France to gather his forces and returned,
yeah,
is
but
how I understand it.
that would take a month or two.
Well, I think that sort of time frame has passed, has it not?
Yeah, I think we can assume that. I mean, Cordelia went off
With the King of France as her
with the King
husband.
of France, and they were in France. And I guess she had envoys that came and told her what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
think that I think that the reality is that the time frame for this um, has been compressed for dramatic purposes.
yeah, it's between
Artistic
the
license.
scenes all the time. Yeah, apart from the conversation, there's months of space.
Mm,
Yeah, because she had time to go to France with the King of France. Then she had to receive word from somebody that her
It's
sisters
over there.
were treating
Yeah.
her father poorly and that her father was going crazy. So
Yeah.
we don't
The
know who's
distance is
conveying
not
this.
so, is it? Going from Dover to Calais and Calais to Dover is not a very long journey, depending on the weather.
Depending on the weather.
Well, I mean, in those days, I mean, traveling 10, 15 miles a day was good going.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You know, it was a very laborsome time traveling. But I mean, even in France, great France, my morning and importuned tears had pitied. I mean, that takes time. It didn't just happen in an afternoon.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just that there's no sense within the dialogue of the time all this is taking place.
I think that's probably smart, really. I think that that allows each viewer and hearer to bring in his own time sense.
Yeah.
I noticed in a more modern approach to filmography, and that particularly on Netflix and Prime, that they are introducing flashbacks throughout a film
Mm-hmm.
in order to explain. It's a different way of approach
Mm-hmm.
to what we would have experienced back in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a way of covering time, isn't it?
Yes, it's a way of explaining the situation
Mhm.
without having an introduction explanation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very different approach that they're using. And I must say, I find it very disturbing. I really dislike it.
Yeah.
It takes me
And
out of the situation that I'm in, and they go back into this stuff. Oh, damn it. Go on.
yeah, I must say I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's overdone now, isn't it? You almost have parallel screens working together.
Yes,
Well, this has
we're to,
always been the problem with film and theater is, these various techniques can either be used with skill or they can be used in a very ham-handed manner. So
I
that's why
think it, yeah, I think that the disturbance is in the old age again. The
well, I'm
younger crowds.
watching. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know who Cecil D. DeMille is?
Yeah.
Okay, so I went last week. The Austin Film Society is showing four of his films, I think. And I took a friend and went to the first one, The Sign of the Cross, which is interesting. It's one of his earliest ones,
Yeah,
um, after sound was introduced.
right.
Okay. And what I noticed was that the actors were using silent movie acting techniques.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which in the silent movies, you have to overact. Since there's no sound, and then,
Mm.
it all just, everything comes in little short written pieces. So you have to overact, and I noticed that all the actors, with the exception of a couple of them, were using um, silent film acting techniques.
Mill was a great man for sword and sandal movies, wasn't he?
Excuse me?
Uh,
So,
Cecil B. DeMille was a great man for what they called sword and sandal movies. You
Yes.
know, set back in Roman times and huge
Yes, yes,
crowds,
yes,
big
yes.
yeah.
crowds. Yeah.
Probably
We,
Cecil
we,
B. DeMille has given certainly people in my age and older their main understanding of much of history.
True.
we used to call that, Duncan, we used to call that the Skirt and Dagger Brigade.
There you go. Oh yeah, no, it was wonderful. I mean, they had Claudette Colbert and her famous milk bath scene uh, where she's naked under the milk and rises up just enough to be provocative. And
Yes.
she's very
Cleopatra,
well, huh?
as Cleopatra.
Actually, I'm probably going to go and see Cleopatra tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that should be interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, well, my friend and I had a whole lot of fun watching The Sign of the Cross, and I learned a lot. I do believe that many older Americans, really, their sense of history comes from the movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The movies coming through the 50s into the 60s and 70s, the big stars were the ones who did away with stage acting.
mhm,
Uh, I can't remember his name now. Dun, uh, Dustin Hoffman, method acting. Just forget about stage acting. You become the person, and
mhm,
you take on the personality, and this is how you express that personality. And to hell with what the director says. This is the way it's going. And they became the bigger stars of the day.
mhm, mhm.
Just
Going back to the,
natural.
sorry, Des, yeah, go ahead.
No, just saying it was a natural ability that they had.
Yeah.
As they said themselves, the camera liked them. It's not so
Mm.
much that and they were acting for the camera. The camera saw them and liked what it saw.
Okay.
A
Yeah.
very different
Well,
approach.
they were actually studying what the camera, how the cameras worked.
Mm.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I'm reading
I just,
a book right now because I'm going to see a lot of films, and I'm reading a book by Walter Murch. And Walter Murch was very important in a lot of big movies. He was the film editor, and he is explaining in his book um, the development of film editing and his particular technique of film editing. It's quite fascinating.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
going back to the movies by Cecil B. DeMille that you mentioned, those sword and sandal movies would have included characters like Charlton Heston in Ben-Hur.
Yes.
Uh, you also had Kirk Douglas in Spartacus, you know. So
Mhm.
short skirts and little swords were the
Oh
order
yeah. Yeah,
there.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, they had in what I saw last week, they had Charles Lawton
Oh
as
wow.
as Nero.
Wow, that's going back a bit. That's probably black and white, I'd say, was it?
I
Yes.
believe that the sign of the cross was made in 32, and it's got a little interesting history because Cecil B. DeMille was very important during the silent movies, but he got kicked out of the company,
Oh,
and then the Depression happened. And when the Depression happened, it was a big challenge for the film industry. And so the people who fired him begged him to come back again. And he made very strong demands. He said, I'll only come back if you give me my own studio and you let me do what I want to do.
mm. You had to be pretty powerful to get that sort of deal.
Yeah, well, they were desperate. Their company was about ready to go under. And then he made the sign of the cross. That was the movie that saved them. And the interesting part is, this is the Great Depression, and DeMille and his people understood that, and they would accept IOUs
Wow.
for tickets. That you did not have to have immediate money to come see the movie. You just had to write out an IOU and then redeem it later. I'm not sure how that worked. I'm hoping to find out how that worked because that's may come in handy in a couple of years.
Sounds like an honesty box.
Yeah. Anyway, it's pretty fascinating. And so anyway, I'm having lots of fun, and I am going to where I'm starting to study how films are actually made, just out of curiosity.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's an interesting study.
Yep. So are we done with
Yeah, scene four. Let's
scene
move
In
on to
four?
four,
scene
yeah.
five.
Okay. So we're done with scene four, and now we're on to scene five, and we have Reagan and Oswald.
Yeah, it's another fairly short one.
Yeah,
It's another fairly short
we're
one.
at
So let's
Gloucester
just,
Castle.
yeah, so let's do this one and talk about it, and then we'll see if we have time to do another one or what amount of time we have. Okay, so we need a Reagan.
I think that should be you. You had only one line the last time.
Okay, I'll be Reagan, and then we need an Oswald.
Okay, I'll
Yes,
do
over to you.
Oswald this time.
Okay.
So are we ready to go?
All set.
Okay, so enter Reagan and Oswald. But are my brother's powers set forth?
That you or
Oswald.
me?
Oswald.
Me? Oh, I'll
Yeah.
do it. Okay. Aye, madam.
Himself in person there.
Madam, with much ado, your sister is the better soldier.
Lord Edmund spake not with our lord at home.
No, madam.
Des.
Getting yourself mixed up here. Beg your pardons.
Okay,
Uh,
so
Lord Edmunds, Lord Edmund spake not with your lord at home.
Yeah. And you come
yes.
in then, Des, with no madam.
I'm not with it tonight, lads. I'm not with it.
Your
Uh,
line is no madam.
no,
Have you
no,
got that?
madam.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this
Oswald,
is this
Oswald,
is pretty
Oswald,
much going to be
Oswald,
Reagan
Oswald,
says something.
Oswald, Oswald. Definitely, Oswald, Oswald.
Yes.
Hey, I know not, my
Okay.
lady.
Okay. Faith.
We've skipped a line there. Duncan, you come
We
back in
did.
with
We did.
what
What might import my sister's letter to him?
I know not, lady.
Then faith. He is posted. Hence a serious matter. It is great ignorance. Gloucester's eyes being out to let him live. When he arrives, he moves all hearts against us. Edmund, I think, is gone in pity of his misery to dispatch his nighted life, moreover, to decry the strength of the enemy.
Must eat needs after him, madam, with my letter.
Our troops set forth tomorrow. Stay with us. The ways are dangerous.
I may not, madam. My lady charged my duty in this business.
Why should she write to Edmund? Might not you transport her purpose by word? Belike, some things I know not what. I love thee much. Let me unseal the letter.
Madam, I had rather.
I know your lady does not love her husband. I'm sure of that. And at her late being here, she gave strange oilated and most speaking looks to noble Edmund. I know you are of his bosom, of her bosom.
Why, madam?
I speak in understanding. You are, I know it. Therefore, I do advise you take this note. My lord is dead. Edmund and I have talked, and more convenient is he for my hand than for your lady's. You may gather more. If you do find him, pray you give him this. And when your mistress hears this much from you, I pray desire her call her wisdom to her. So fare you well. If you do chance to hear of that blind traitor, preferment falls on him that cuts him off.
Would I could meet him, madam. I should show what party I do follow.
Fare thee well. Okay. So I think the
presumably it means that Gloucester has left the scene. He's gotten away. Well,
yes,
well, wasn't he injured at his own castle?
Yes, he was. He had his eyes gouged out by Cornwall.
Yeah. So did somebody take him away? Was it Simple Tom or whatever his name was? Because now they're sending out people looking for him to kill him.
I believe a servant took him away.
Okay.
I believe a servant took him away, and somehow he ended up with poor Tom.
Hmm.
Because there was confusion because one of the servants fought with Cornwall. Cornwall killed him, but he stabbed Cornwall, and Cornwall
Died.
eventually died of the
Hmm.
stab. Okay, so I think that's how it was. I
Yeah,
might, I
sounds
might,
right.
okay. But here's it. This is an interesting scene because, of course, Oswald is Goneril's man. So for Reagan to have a scene between Reagan and Oswald, um, there's a lot in this.
When Reagan says here the first line, "But are my brother's powers set forth?" Is she talking about her brother-in-law?
Yes, I think she's talking about Cornwall.
Yeah,
That even though Cornwall is dead,
yeah.
that his soldiers are rushing to Dover. But wait, there's a little bit of confusion. Himself in person there? Let's see. Reagan is married to Cornwall. Okay, so let's see. Oswald Messenger. Well, no, Cornwall would not be Reagan's brother since Reagan was married to Cornwall. So she must be speaking of Albany, which
Goneril's
surprises.
husband. Yes, Oswald would know about Goneril's or Albany's troops. That would make sense, Duncan.
Let's see what my note says. So, my notes say a messenger brings a letter from Reagan to Goneril at Albany's house in Act 4, Scene 2. And Goneril exits there to answer it. That answer has now, it seems, been brought by Oswald, who also carries a letter from Goneril to Edmund. Meanwhile, Edmund has gone off to locate Gloucester or the enemy. The scene could be imagined as taking place at Gloucester's house or Reagan's.
It says Gloucester's Castle at the start. At the
In,
Yes,
opening.
your,
that's
in yours, it says that because mine just says enter Reagan and Oswald.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
this one. This one has Gloucester's castle.
Yeah,
Okay.
same as mine.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's fine, whichever it is.
Hmm.
But I'm a little surprised that they don't have a note on who brother are my brother's powers set forth.
Yeah.
And
If Regan, if Regan is talking about her brother-in-law, that would um,
it would be Albany.
be Goneril's husband,
Yeah, Albany.
Albany, who's and the Oswald said, "With much ado, your sister is the better soldier." Another
Yes.
Albany has disintegrated.
With much ado, a lot of fuss about it. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
it certainly makes sense that Goneril's a better soldier than
yeah.
Albany. Albany is too
The
expensive.
much ado is probably the row between Goneril and Albany.
That's very likely.
Yeah.
Then Regan says, Lord Edmund spake not with your lord at home.
This is Gloucester's castle, so he's asking about Edmund. Yes, the new Lord Gloucester, Earl. Might import my sister's letter to him. Oh yes, Regan is asking about what Goneril's saying in her letter to Edmund.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Oswald is saying he doesn't know.
He said he knows damned well, but he says he doesn't know.
Yeah. And she responds by saying, well, he's posted on a serious matter. In other words, he's gone off to murder Gloucester.
Gloucester's eyes being out to let him live. When he
Hmm.
arrives, he moves all hearts against us. Where he arrives, he moves all hearts against us, saying that as long as Gloucester is alive, and telling people the story of his eyes being poked out, he's always going to get sympathy, and we're going to be the villains.
Correct. Yeah. So that's why he has to be dispatched. He presumably is getting people to rise up against the two sisters after what has happened to him, and people are in sympathy with him, or some people are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we actually know that he's just with Tom.
Edmund.
No, Gloucester.
Gloucester.
Oh, sorry, you're right. Yeah,
He's with Tom. He's not. He's still got his eyes poked out. He's not. He's in no condition to go around anywhere. And we know that actually he wants Tom to take him to the cliff so he can jump off.
yeah, but maybe the sisters are interpreting that in a different way. Maybe they're getting some feedback of, a certain groundswell of support for Gloucester after what has happened to him.
Yeah, and I think they're just plain old realizing they did something really bad.
Yeah,
And anybody
and
who hears
they're going to
about
make it
it,
worse.
I think their paranoia is
Yeah,
uh, is catching up to them. When in fact, actually, Gloucester's. I can't remember. Did Kent help me out here? Did Kent? Does Kent know that Gloucester's eyes have been put out?
yes. Kent was in the scene before last, and he turns up at the French camp.
Okay, so here's just to substantiate. Gloucester is led to Tom by a character called Old Man.
Old man, yes, yes.
Yeah, the
Okay.
old man must have taken him away from the scene also, the scene of his blinding.
Yeah, and I'm making this up, so I'm not totally confident. I think that after his eyes were poked out, they cast Gloucester out of the castle, and then the old man found him.
Yeah. The old man was a tenant to Gloucester.
Mm-hmm.
The gentleman says there at the end of scene 3, I'll bring you to our master Lear and leave you to attend him.
Scene three,
The end of
Scene
scene
three,
three.
Act
the
four,
last
scene
bit.
three. Okay, hold on. Okay, so here's Kent and gentlemen.
Sir, I'll bring you to our master Lear and leave you to attend him. Some dear cause will in concealment wrap me up a while. When I am known aright, you shall not grieve lending me this acquaintance.
Excuse me, I'm kind of flipping through. I'm very curious as to whether the gentleman and Kent know that Gloucester's eyes have been poked out.
There's no mention of Gloucester in that scene.
No,
Yeah,
I mean their conversation is around why the King of France has suddenly gone back home.
uh-huh.
And the gentleman says something he left imperfect in the state, which since his coming forth is thought of, which imports to the kingdom so much fear and danger that his personal return was most required and necessary. So the King of France has gone back to France. But you're right, Duncan. There's no indication there that Kent knows that Gloucester has had his eyes put out.
Yeah. Well, at least I say yeah, meaning that I have not found any indication to
Yeah,
contradict that assertion that Kent really doesn't know. And so, in reality, the only people that that know about Gloucester's eyes are the people who poked his eyes out,
and the
and
old man.
the old man and poor Tom.
And the old man met Gloucester on the heath, so he must have left his castle at that point.
I think they tossed him out of the castle.
They toss him out, okay. And he's getting clothes for him because I think they'd taken Lear's clothes also. He says, I will bring him the best apparel that I have, coming at what will. This is the old man.
Yeah.
And then Edgar says, poor Tom's a cold.
Hmm.
And Gloucester says, knowest thou the way to Dover? So he's trying to make contact with Cordelia and the King of France. But of course, he also has decided now that he wants to jump off the cliffs of Dover. That's why he wants to go to Dover.
Right.
There is a cliff whose high and bending head looks fearfully in the confined deep. Bring me but to the very brim of it, and I'll repair the misery thou dost bear with something rich about me. From that place I shall no leading need. So in other words, I'll be able to jump.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we can assume that Kent doesn't know of Gloucester's condition.
That's yeah. That's what I think right now.
Yeah.
The previous entry of Kent in the play was Act 3, Scene 4. And this has Lear, Edgar, Gloucester, and Kent. And uh, Kent is trying to get Lear to move. I think it was into the indoors. I think it was. Must be the
Okay, yeah, back there, he would, Lear was out ranting and raving in the
yeah.
storm back at that point.
And
And
Kent is saying to Gloucester, "Good my lord, soothe him. Let him take the fellow." Gloucester's take him you on. I think that is Gloucester to Kent talking about Lear.
mhm.
And Kent says, "Sirrah, come on, go along with us." Lear says, "Come, good Athenian." And Gloucester says, "No words, no words, hush." Edgar says, "Child Roland to the dark tower came." Oh, this is Edgar putting on his madness
Mhm.
and Lear calling him a philosopher. And
Yes,
Edgar, yeah, yeah, he's playing the madman.
yeah,
So
he's playing court jester, isn't he?
yeah, there's no mention of Kent in the play up until where we are today.
Except for the start. At the very start, he's there,
Yeah.
and
So
he's
there's no mention that he knows of Gloucester's condition.
correct.
That's what I think that
Yeah,
he
I
does not
agree.
know.
Yeah.
So
Nor
this
would he
this
nor would he know
paranoia,
that
this
that
paranoia of Reagan's
yeah,
yeah.
Albany, yeah, he would not know that. Nor would he know of Cornwall's condition. But Cornwall is dead at this stage.
Right.
Yeah, this is where the difficulty with time and distance comes into it. We don't know exactly what the distances are or what the time frame is.
I would assume that Shakespeare's original audiences, though, had some sense
Yeah,
of what was what and when was when.
They would probably have had um, an idea of the plot before the whole system. That they would have had flyers around
Hmm.
explaining the plot or giving previews or whatever they call them.
Yeah, yeah, that would probably be a gloss.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have had
enticement.
podcasts though.
Well, let's go back to this relatively short act, but man, it's got a lot of stuff because we know that Reagan is trying to get Oswald to open up the letter. Oswald is resisting, and Reagan is bold enough to imply that now that Cornwall is dead, that Goneril has designs on him. No,
And Reagan
Goneril,
too, I think.
hold on, Goneril. Okay, here we go.
We need a little chart beside us with all the different relationships.
Uh-huh. Well, a lot of this act is pointing out why should she write to Edmund? Might not you transport her purposes by word? Be like, some things I know not what. I love thee much. Let me unseal the letter.
I think there's a
Reagan,
bit of jealousy coming in here.
yes, yes. Well, Reagan then after Oswald refuses to open the letter, Reagan says, I know your lady does not love her husband. I'm sure of that. And at her fate being here, she gives strange oeillades. Gotta find out what oil amorous glances. That's what a Oeillades.
From the French word for eye, l'œil.
Yeah,
Oily eyes.
she gave oeillades and most speaking looks to noble Edmund. I know you are of her bosom.
It's a strange phrase.
Yeah, it means that, it's what's the expression? My bosom buddy. A bosom buddy is one you'll tell everything to.
Hmm. And he's still in denial about this. He's saying, I, madam? Never.
Yeah, well, he's resisting portraying his mistress.
Hmm.
Reagan, okay, Oswald, I, madam. Reagan, I speak in understanding. You are, I know it. Therefore, I do advise you take this note. My lord is dead. Edmund and I have talked, and more convenient is he for my hand than for your ladies. This is straight up power politics.
Hmm. Basically, she's saying here that she's free to marry Edmund because her husband is dead. Isn't that what she's saying?
That is what she's saying. And
Yeah.
she needs a man, but she's also saying, Oswald, buddy, listen, I know you're Goneril's guy, but listen, I got the power hand.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
should cooperate with me and
Yeah.
open that letter.
It's quite threatening.
Yeah. Yeah, it's after she's telling Oswald, "Hey, I've got the better poker hand here, buddy.
Hmm.
Don't be too loyal, or you'll lose out." And then she tries to recruit Oswald to be her spy and her liaison between her and Edmund.
And she's also saying that, give a message to my sister and basically tell her who's boss. I'm boss.
Okay, so when you find him, pray you give him this.
Yeah.
And when your mistress hears this much from you, I pray desire her call her wisdom to her.
Yeah. In other words, have sense.
If you do chance to hear of that blind traitor, preferment falls on him that cuts him off.
Hmm.
God, there is so
Bluster.
much in this little speech that she's giving Oswald. He's saying, portray your mistress, come on to my side, be a liaison between me and Edmund. And by the way, if you see the old blind bastard, kill him, and I'll give you a bunch of stuff.
I'll promote you.
Yes. And Oswald's reply to that is good. Would I could meet him, madam. I should show what party I do follow. Now, that's not going to be Reagan.
That that's very open.
Very, very open. Reagan can take it as that's her,
Yeah.
but no, it's not. Certainly,
Yeah, very interesting scene.
it was very short and involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot packed into this
Yeah.
interchange. A lot of back information, and a lot of wheeling and dealing, and a lot of scheming all happening in these not quite 2 pages, really.
Yeah, and the next scene is
Certainly.
very long. We probably shouldn't go anywhere near it this evening.
I mean, it was that scene like that scene five. I mean, Shakespeare didn't write this on the back of a cigarette packet.
No.
You've got to think your way through some of this stuff. He probably had it written 3 or 4 different ways and chopped it up and put it together again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I suppose that's where his greatness lies, isn't it? That, you know, what we end up with here as the finished product is a well thought through plot and the interaction of the characters.
You're right, but I will once again I'll remind everybody that actually the King Lear for 150 years was a totally different play, totally rewritten,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that it was only in the late 1800s that it came back to the more or less the original form.
Which is what we
Being a
have now.
tragedy. It was actually a romantic comedy for about 150 years.
No.
I think it was something ridiculous like Cordelia. Yeah, it was totally rewritten because right after this happened is when the king closed all the theaters.
There's something Trumpian about that.
Cornwall. What was it? Was it? Yeah. Anyway, all the theaters were closed, and drama was strictly forbidden during the
Um,
Cromwell. I think the Cromwell. Does it?
Yeah. Cromwell. Yeah.
Yeah, Cromwell came along, right?
Yeah.
And then he said, no theater. Theater is unchristian. It's a sin. So they
mm.
closed all the theaters.
It
For
would be a very good reason for the original script to disappear.
yeah, there's all
In a
kinds of
Yeah, it
at
went
a time,
underground.
yeah, yeah. Do we have anything, Duncan, of the original script? Do we know anything about it?
I sent out a link to a book that goes into all this stuff, and I need to go back and review what was written there.
It would be interesting to find out.
Yeah, hopefully I will actually remember to go back, dig it up again
Good.
and and read it. And I think I sent copies to everybody or links to everybody.
Maybe you need to do it again
I'll do it again. Yeah. Mhm.
rather than you having to read the whole thing. We can all dip into it.
Yeah. That would be smart of me to do that.
No, when you said about all the theaters being closed, I said to myself, this is like Trump's comments today about taking the license from the broadcasters. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
the Jimmy Kimmel situation, and
Yeah.
now
I would. Yeah.
they're all running scared now. You know,
Oh, there's all kinds of possibilities in the air now. I was suggesting that actually Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, and some other people and who've been dumped on by Trump should team up with NPR, National Public Radio, which also had their budget severely cut, and they should create a new media, which I think would be very successful if they can get and Colbert and Kimball, they have money.
yeah. But
These are
would
not
Trump not
poor.
just clamp down on all of that again? I mean, he's getting to the point where he's going to shut down TV and radio.
Yeah,
And
but Trump's Trump's
you know,
power
if he
Trump's
can
power
frighten
was
off
holding,
ABC like this, you know,
but Trump's power was in holding the purse strings.
Right.
yeah,
And if these guys are not beholden to him for cash, there's not a lot he can do.
he can send in the army.
No, no, there's only so many soldiers.
And they're
There's
very busy.
only so many soldiers, and he really would have a lot of trouble if he were trying to do even three cities at the same time.
Yeah.
You
Did
know,
you hear him yesterday at the press conference after meeting with Keir Starmer? he was
No.
talking about his ability to solve all these problems, and he said that he settled the what was it? He settled the war between Azerbaijan and
John?
uh, Albania. Now, what he meant was Azerbaijan and what was the other one?
You
Armenia.
said army. All right.
Armenia. He got to Albania, 1,000 miles away,
Hmm.
and
It's all the same thing, Des.
his brain is getting as rackety as mine. I tell you that.
Well, he's in a lot of trouble and he knows it. If he if he doesn't
Immensely.
if he doesn't pull his bluffs, if he can't sustain his bluffs, he's toast.
Yeah, he is.
But,
He is.
but if he's toast, Duncan, who's going to burn him? It doesn't look like the Democrats have any power.
Not at
Um,
the moment. No,
Do
no.
you think he could lose, we say, in the midterms? We've always said that
yes,
come
yes,
the
yes,
midterms, he's
yes,
toast anyway.
yes, yes. I think he can lose in the midterm. He can lose the House, he can lose the Senate. Maybe he'll
Yeah,
lose both of them. That's why they're working so hard to try to clamp down on votes.
yeah.
Um, but
Did,
even
did he
more,
get rid of the chairman of the Federal Reserve? Hadn't he dismissed him? But I have a feeling the guy is still there.
he's
No,
still,
no,
he
no.
can't dismiss him. He can't.
He can't now.
Yeah, it's extraordinary stuff.
I mean, it would be very difficult to dismiss him and very dangerous
Mm.
because even the conservative business community would be very uncomfortable with that idea.
Yeah, yeah,
They're already having trouble with the anarchy within the financial system.
yes, yeah.
And we're having a lot of trouble. Price of gold is going up again, the dollar is going down again. Inflation is, building. The unemployment figures have not been good at all for the last couple of
Mm.
months. People are restless. Yes, can he do dramatic things? It looked like he's going to become the dictator. He can do dramatic things that make people think he's going to be the dictator. But the fact of the matter is his power is limited.
Mm. Yeah, because everything he does is by executive order, which carries no weight at all.
Well,
You
it
know, it
carries
took,
it carries some temporary weight. But
yeah,
like, what was it, 3 days ago, he was going to sue the New York Times for $15 billion. Today, the judge,
it's the Wall Street
well,
Journal that he's suing,
no, it's the New York Times
And
and and the Wall Street Journal, I
and the
think.
Wall Street Journal. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's trying to grab all the media that he can, but it's spinning out of control.
yeah, and there is no substance in any of it.
well, today he got the House to pass a bill which would avoid a government shutdown. So the whole question has been shifted off to the Senate, where it's going to
Mhm.
be a bit of a battle royal if the Democrats are worth anything. They can't do what Schumer did the last time. They just can't. If they
Well,
do,
we say they can't, but they've done it over and over and over again.
but if they do it
Yeah.
again, I think the Democrats are in a position to lose in 26. There's no
No,
way.
even though, like I would never give a penny to the Democratic Party, not a penny. But I contribute to a number of political candidates. And the Democratic Party is very problematic. That back in the 90s, Bill Clinton figured out a way to get the same businessmen that were giving money to the Republican Party to give it to the Democratic Party. And the head of the Democratic Party had become very comfortable with that. They don't want to take a chance on losing that money. That's why they make the same stupid decisions again and again. But the rebellion is growing. And the movement by actual people in the street and by organizations such as the ACLU or there's another organization run by this guy Mark Elias are are getting stronger and stronger. The Democratic establishment is not going to do anything really sensible until the last minute and after everything has already been settled and they realize they have no choice.
Yeah, yeah.
And Trump, we've got 14 months between now and the midterm elections. Let's see, call it February. So February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So we're 7 months in to Trump's second term, and he has basically caused a lot of damage and made a lot of people angry, including a number of his own supporters.
Mhm.
And that is going to grow.
And that applies globally, Duncan, doesn't it? You know, he has shifted the whole global scenario at this stage.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, but
He cannot be trusted, yet he's feted and driven around in a carriage at Windsor Castle yesterday as though the Brits are kowtowing to him, you know?
well, here's my analysis. It's the bully in the schoolyard.
Yeah, and he looks like one.
And he looks like one. And so when he puts pressure on individual situations like the UK, they do an outward show.
Yeah,
But really, everybody, almost all the major countries in the world are plotting against the United States and Donald Trump at this time. They're
correct.
not going to come out and say it in public because you don't
No,
if you're a
no,
kid on the schoolyard, you don't piss the bully off until you're really organized. But you're
correct.
constantly figuring out how do I avoid this stupid shit? How how do I get back at him? And my feeling is, that's what the world is doing. The world is figuring out new alliances and how do we strengthen ourselves to one, uh, you know, limit the damage that he's doing, and two, how can we push back and get rid of this fucker
Yeah, or just see him out.
or just see him out? So it's not just a few comedians in the
No,
United States. It's a whole worldwide move and that has the same question. How do we get rid of this guy?
absolutely.
If then Trump is in power for the next 3 years, 3.5 years, and the Democrats take the House and possibly the Senate as well, then Trump end up in a situation that Obama was in, where he didn't have the House or the Senate. And
Hmm.
there's not an awful lot he can do.
Right.
But I think the damage is done.
A lot of damage is done.
A lot of damage is done. He still has the power to nominate federal judges throughout the country. And that is really an ongoing situation over
Yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
But
self protection, as far as he's concerned, he wants the judges in his pocket so they can keep him out of court.
Yes, but the power behind him want the judges in his pocket to change the system.
Yeah, but to
The
change the system
administration,
you've got to get legislation through the houses. And if he loses the two houses, he's lame duck at that stage, as you said,
Right.
Obama.
And if he loses, even if he loses just one of the houses, say, for example, he keeps the Senate by one vote or so, but he loses the House of Representatives. Well, then the House of Representatives can start investigations.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of power. It's
And
not
they
as,
won't be sending legislation forward to the Senate either.
and they want, and right, there are many, many ways that his hands can be tied.
We continue to pray.
I'm actually ultimately confident.
Good.
I think we're gonna,
Glad to hear that.
I think we're going, I think a large part, a significant part of people are waking up and understanding that we've allowed a 40-year conspiracy to grab the government.
Yeah.
So we're going to end up, I think, ultimately being more mature politically.
Hopefully.
But it's a pretty hard road up till then, you know. But I think that things will get better before too long.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Well, anyway, I thank you, gentlemen. We will
Thank you,
return.
guys. Yeah.
We will the adventures of poor Tom and Gloucester and the Lear family will continue anon.
Nice,
We'll
everybody.
start with scene 6.
Yep.
We'll start with scene 6, but for the others who were not here, we're going to have to come up with a summary.
Or we can always do a quick read through because they're short scenes.
Yeah, that's true.
It'll probably take, that might make as much sense to them as it did to us 30 minutes ago.
But we can explain this now that we know all about it.
Yeah, we can explain it more quickly than we've been able to parse it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to click the big red button.
See you guys.